we bring you inside a raucous Texas stadium here in Irving, Texas for round 14 of EA Sports Supercross presented by Speed Stick. And hi everybody, along with former Supercross champion David Bailey, I'm Terry Gannon. We're coming down to the wire in the 2002 season, just 3 events left, including this one here in Dallas. And who else leading the overall point standings? Ricky Carmichael, who has been the dominant rider over the past year and a half. But this year, David, he hasn't been invincible.
No, he has had his setbacks, and right from the get-go he had a big setback, but he's come roaring back. His intensity has literally changed this sport. Last week, though, that was never more obvious than this horrifying loop out, going off the back of the bike, face plant, his visor was hanging in his face, but he came from 19th all the way back up to 2nd, almost won the race and was disappointed that his streak was broken.
And maybe nobody else in the sport could have come back after that to finish second.
No, I think a lot of people, Terry, would have just called it a night after that.
In second in the overall point standings, David Villemin from France. He's got to be thinking right now, hey, I could be a whole lot closer than 24 points back.
Well, he had a big points lead after he had come from behind to run Carmichael down right there back at Indianapolis, and he's been the only rider that's been able to do that to Carmichael, but an injury after that to his shoulder cost him an event. Back in Daytona, he lost all those points, 25 of them to Carmichael, and he's just been dropping further back ever since.
Well, the 250 riders will take the track a little bit later for the main event. Up first, though, the 125 West Division, and the name there is James Stewart. For more on him, let's join the third member of our crew, Davey Coombs.
Well, 16-year-old James Stewart has a 10-point lead in the 125 West region. James is a product of Kawasaki's Team Green Development Program. It's a program that goes out and finds young talent in this sport and grooms them to be future champions.
You know, you see the guys, you know, develop as mini bike riders and then into the big bikes and then on to pro careers. And we've had a lot of notable guys through the years like Donnie Schmidt and Rodney Barr, and, you know, in that era, and Jeff Emick, of course. Jeremy McGrath, and now in the more modern era, I would say Ricky Carmichael and James Stewart. We're very confident in James, and you know, he's done everything that anyone could do, and when you see the debut that he made this year, I mean, he's had his ups and downs as guys do at a young age, but it's pretty obvious that he has the skill and he has the speed, and I think as he gains some experience, you'll see a very polished rider that'll go into the 125 and then eventually the 250 class and be a champion that's going to win many, many championships.
Remember, before Stewart could win many championships, he's got to get this first one out of the way. And as we've seen time and again this year, Bubba can be his own worst enemy. One more rookie mistake might prevent him from making this EA Sports Supercross Championship his first as a professional.
All right, David, take us through the Speed Stick track map right now.
Well, it's a long start, Terry. Over 100 yards into the first corner, and I expect to see a little bit of a jam up right there through the first couple. Interesting rhythm section down through here. You got to be spot on to get that fast every time, and some guys are having trouble after the whoops to still jump that 65-foot triple. They go across the starting line right here, get the signal from their mechanics. Finish line corner right in, and there's the line right there for that hole shot money. Whoever gets there first gets that Powerade hole shot.
Well, the qualifying heats have already taken place. 2 qualifying heats, 9 in each, moving on to the main event. Matt Walker, number 68, who got his first win a few weeks ago in Houston. There are the names moving on to the main event from heat number 1. James Stewart was incredible winning heat number 2, David.
Well, his lap times were a couple of seconds faster than Matt Walker's, and he was flawless. I didn't see one big mistake from him, and that's been his weakness so far.
Take a look at our Honda starting grid right now. Matt Walker, number 68, right next to James Stewart, and Justin Bucklew, who is very good in qualifying so far. Travis Preston, 2nd overall in the points, next to Chris Gosler. Johnny Marley's been very good on his 4-stroke so far in qualifying here in Dallas.
Those 4-strokes have an advantage on this long start. And Eric Sorby right there, 9:17, having to go to the last chance qualifier, is all the way on the outside gate. This is way over on the inside. That's the second gate from the far inside. James Stewart, sign is sideways.
32nd board sideways. There's Travis Preston, number 29, and they are racing in Irving, Texas. The battle for that Powerade hole shot.
Unbelievable start for Sorby from the outside.
Justin Bucklew, number 64, in the lead. Eric Sorby, as you mentioned, 9:17, got a great start. 2nd from last on the outside, all the way near the front. And a tight first turn. There they go. Chase Reed, number 255, riding well.
What an opportunity for him to get out and get a great start. You got the heavy hitters, Matt Walker and James Stewart and Sorby pretty far back in the pack. But Preston is up there in good position, right behind his teammate, number 90, Chris Goffler, who really felt like he could have won in Houston a few rounds ago. But he made some mistakes there, didn't get the start he needed. Here he's in good position, and he's got Stewart, who just blazed his heat race earlier today, still behind him.
There goes Reed.
Stewart has gone down.
James Stewart is down, and that's been his story this year. As you look at Reed still leading, extending his lead ahead of Justin Buckaloo. And Travis Elliott, number 105, went behind. Chris Goffler, number 90, among the top four, but Reed,
not to be confused with Chad Reed, who just wrapped up the East title. What a battle for second.
Go down to Davey Coombs.
Well, guys, I saw the James Stewart crash. He was taking his time. He was being very patient. But on one of the big triple jumps, another rider got a little too close and actually pushed James over onto one of the tough blocks. He saved the bike, didn't crash hard, but his front wheel got wrapped up in the tough block, and down he went.
All right, Davey, so James Stewart, it has been feast or famine for him. He's got 2 wins in the series. This is the 7th event for the 125 West Riders, but he's also crashed in every one of the main events except for one.
Well, we'll keep an eye on his progress. He's got the speed to catch this lead group. It just depends on how well he's able to get through the pack. From what I saw just a moment ago, it looks like his bike is okay, and he's back up running at the speed that it would take to catch these guys.
And Chase Reed a moment ago went down. Take a look.
This is going into the corner before the finish line. He jumped the triple, and the wheel just tucked on him in high side. It threw him off the high side. He's okay, but see all the riders going by him. Now it's Preston, who always seems to be in the right place at the right time. He won his first main event in Houston last year on the last lap with a rider going down. Grant Langston tossed it away with a half a lap to go, and he picked up the win.
You remember that when he waved to the crowd on that final lap?
So Preston, once again, being patient here, being smart, and this is going to be huge in terms of the championship. Only 10 points behind James Stewart. Stewart having to come from last, while Preston is out front.
Travis Preston 10 points behind James Stewart in the overall race, as you mentioned, and there's only one event left after this one. That one's in Salt Lake City. So it's coming down to the wire, and he's got a great opportunity here in Dallas.
Take a look at after the whip section up to the triple. Travis Elliott just leaving the door a little bit too far open for Travis Preston, who's just been incredible this season. Last year, I really couldn't tell you what he did much other than win that race in Houston. But this year, he has been on the radar screen the entire season. He's been steady. He's always where he needs to be. Right now, he's starting to pull away. He's got no pressure from behind.
Take a look at Ryan Clark's helmet cam. This is a great shot.
Well, he just had to roll that section, so he's having some problems. Stewart went flying by him. Stewart up to speed, but in traffic, not able to run the lap times of the leaders.
And David, we're told it has just started to sprinkle here at Texas Stadium. There was a lot of rain in the forecast. It hasn't rained all day, but that certainly could change the elements that track here.
Any of the shiny spots you see out there on the racetrack, that lighter colored dirt, as soon as you get some raindrops on that, that's going to slicken things up a little bit. It's going to get tougher as the night goes on. These guys are praying it holds off. If they didn't plan for that in their tire selection, and if it starts to rain harder, these guys are going to really fight with that. Elliott staying close, Terry. I'm surprised that Elliott has been able to actually reel the leader Preston back in a little bit.
The lead just under, a second and a half. But it's Travis Preston who leads right now, 10 points behind in the overall race. There's James Stewart after the crash trying to work his way back up towards the lead. Preston, Elliott, Ivan Tedesco, who is in third place overall in the standings. He's in the top 3. And Eric Sorby, the young man from France, is currently in fourth. The action continues from Dallas in a moment.
ABC Sports, brought to you by Suzuki, maker of innovative motorcycles and all-terrain vehicles. Yamaha, makers of fine motorcycles and ATVs. Nobody's more in tune with motorsports than Yamaha. Speed Stick, power of nature for protection that smells good. And Honda, the company that defines performance in motorcycles, ATVs, and scooters.
Back at Texas Stadium, EA Sports Supercross continues. Terry Gannon along with David Bailey and Davey Coombs. And it's Travis Preston, the 23-year-old from Santa Ana, California, who has the lead right now.
Unbelievable battle going on behind him. He has no idea what kind of mayhem's taking place back there in the pack. Just pulling away, running a clean race. It's going to feel pretty easy for him. But it is not easy for Stewart, who's coming through the pack. And a great battle between Sorby, who had to go to the last chance qualifier, and Matt Walker, the last round winner in Houston. Here they come. They've been chasing down number 90, Chris Gosseler. These guys were scrapping, going back and forth, touching a little bit, and they're still close.
Eric Sorby, number 917. What a story he's been since coming over from France. 3 races so far, a third, a second, and a third place. That's incredible in terms of a debut.
And, you know, and I haven't seen any weakness in the guy. No, he made a mistake, had to go to the last chance qualifier, and he was leading that and crashed. Got up and charged all the way back through the pack into qualifying position. Walker going by him right there with a much better line. That was slick. And then Sorby getting such a great start from the far outside position. So he's very clever out there. 20 years old, I think.
Sorby gave up the sport at one point, came back, and what an American debut he's had. The Honda stopwatch, the interval between Preston and Eric Sorby, there you see it. The last lap and this lap.
Preston using that long body to get to the whoop section quick. That was his strength last year. I talked about not really noticing him that much last year. The only place I ever did notice him was through the whoops. And he wasn't really able to put things together everywhere else on the track. And this season, his humor, it's always surprising. He's always got something pretty clever and funny to say. He takes it light. He just does the best he can. And it looks like his style has actually gotten a little bit more fluid. Always in the right place on the motorcycle. He's a completely changed rider now. No surprise, really, that he's in the lead.
Well, it's easy to smile when you're riding well, and you got a shot at the championship. Awfully tough when you're coming from behind. Justin Bucklew, Andrew Short actually just went down. There you see him. They went right in to Eric Sorby.
Yeah, he was trying to make contact. That's what I was talking about, how slick Sorby is. He knew that was going to happen. He never even put his foot down, so he knew that Short was probably going to run over it. He stayed standing up and rode the top of that berm around there and still came out of that okay.
There's the battle for third. Chris Gosseler going by Ivan Tedesco. Tedesco trying to hold him off, though.
Tedesco looked over knowing that Gosseler was going to try to square him off, and he still couldn't cover the line. Gosseler running quick lap times right now.
Gosseler, who was in 4th place overall in the point standings this year. 20-year-old from Juniper Hills, California.
That last lap, he turned to 55. Preston out front, a 56. Stewart, a 57. So Stewart struggling to get the lap times that he had in his heat race earlier in this traffic. But he is starting to climb his way up. Stewart all the way up into 7th place, saving valuable points. But the title is on the line.
Tedesco, 20 years of age from Albuquerque. A veteran out here.
Behind Tedesco, you get Matt Walker, then Eric Sorby, and then James Stewart.
So 10 laps down, 15 total here in Dallas. Saturday, May 11th. ABC Sports takes the racing action from off-road to the legendary oval at the Brickyard. The best drivers in the world compete for the pole position in the Indianapolis 500. The time trials begin Saturday, May 11th on ABC.
Unbelievable the distance you can see that Gosseler has already over Tedesco just a lap ago. Gosseler putting a square off move on him after the triple, and it just checked out. Gosseler trying to work his way into 2nd place. There's the battle.
Gosseler and Elliott battling.
Elliott tripled through there like he should, but he still doesn't get that line.
You saw a moment ago, Sorby down to 7th place overall. Justin Bucklew, who started well, currently all the way back in 13th. So the 125 main event in the West Division, Travis Preston with the lead, trying to win for the 2nd time on the circuit this year. Preston flying high so far in Dallas, looking for the checkered flag.
There's never been a better time to hit the trails because it's Suzuki Fest time. Let us reward you when you buy a new Suzuki Quadrunner ATV. Suzuki Fest rewards as low as 2.95% APR financing of...
Back in Dallas, James Stewart, that's been the story so far this year. Crashes or victories, and tonight, so far, it's been a crash, and he's tried to work himself back up near the lead since that first lap.
He's been unbelievable in these past few laps. He's starting to get a great rhythm going. He's catching Matt Walker. Unbelievable ride.
But back at the front of the pack, Travis Preston with the lead over Chris Gosselin. Elliott in 3rd so far. Ivan Tedesco currently in 4th.
The crowd starting to go crazy a little bit because Stewart has just moved around Matt Walker. Those were the 2 heat winners, and Matt was talking about, hey, I want to get a great start and be up front with James Stewart. Maybe the best man win. Well, he's got his battle, but it's not for the lead. Preston has got great control over that. He's got a good lead over his teammate now. What a night that's going to be for the Amsoil Honda team. Mike LaRocco, a 250 rider, owns that team. Even though he can't be here in the 250 class.
James Stewart really making a move now, all the way up to 5th place, and it's amazing to listen to the crowd react because, yeah, they follow the leaders, but they also follow James Stewart no matter where he is on the track.
Look at him go. Kid is just unbelievable, and you can't mistake him out there. The bright green bike, the bright pink gear, and he's got the battle for 3rd right now. So coming from last and have a chance at the podium really goes to show just how fast this kid is. That last lap of 55.
And the crash in the middle of the track. Down goes Stewart for the 2nd time along with Ivan Tedesco.
A little bit impatient there maybe. He was trying to make something happen, and here comes Sorby, gets back by him.
And he's down again. 3 times.
And Tedesco rides right around him, Terry. And Tedesco was not happy about that. He kind of gave him a little punch in the back. And he gets to laugh at him a little bit, probably on the way by. So Stewart, his experience as a professional has not caught up with his ambition. Right here, it was a good aggressive move, but their bikes get caught up. And watch Tedesco right here as he looks over it. He gives him a little shove like, come on, man. We both had a good ride going. Don't take us both out. And he's down again. Stuck underneath the motorcycle. This could be the championship, Terry.
He had a 10-point lead coming into this race, and as he worked back towards the front of the pack trying to get to the podium at all the time, there's his dad walking away.
He cannot believe what he has just seen. This has been what impresses me so much about Stewart. This is his last crash going into the corner before the finish line. He just wasn't paying attention right there. The front wheel rode up on those tough blocks and he fell over, and he's not going to get any points now. And Preston, who was only 10 points behind, may be able to take over he will take over the points lead.
He will, because he was 10 behind, and the worst possible thing happened as they are in the final lap here for James Stewart. He just needed to hang in there and have a solid finish and try to hold on to that lead. But Travis Preston's going to run away with this one.
I was talking about how impressed I was with so many of the things that Stewart does, and I thought that he would be able to learn quick. Because so many people talk about his weakness, and he really hasn't been able to capitalize on fixing that problem.
So here comes Travis Preston. Across the finish line for the 2nd time this year, he gets the victory. Chris Gosselin comes in 2nd. There's Preston's mechanic and his team. They're going nuts.
We got the team manager up here in our booth right behind us. He's jumping up and down. 1-2 for that team. How happy are these guys? They might both have passed James Stewart.
Preston, Gosselin, and then Elliott comes in 3rd. Here comes James Stewart.
Well, he understands what just happened. He just rode past the celebration over there at the Honda team.
And he ends up in 16th place.
That's a little better than I thought, actually. Unbelievable. He had a chance at third. Gosler having no idea what was going on back there behind him, saying, hey, good ride. And James is going, you have no idea.
But there's the man who gets the victory here in Dallas. Travis Preston wins once again. He was in second overall in the point standings, but a major move for him here. Gosler comes in second, and Travis Elliott rounds out the top three ahead of Matt Walker. Eric Sorby working his way back. He was in seventh at one point, but back up to round out the top five ahead of Ivan Tedesco. And James Stewart, an extremely disappointing 16th place finish, and a night that included four crashes. But this man will celebrate. Travis Preston, the 23-year-old from California. And Preston now, with the victory, he has a 10-point lead in the overall points race. So he goes into the final race in Salt Lake City with a 10-point lead. What a difference one night makes in Texas. Let's go down to Davey Coombs.
Well, Travis, I got to tell you, we got to start calling you Presto, because every time you need a big win, man, you pull one out. You just did it again. James Stewart goes down. I think you might be tied in the points. You're right there for the championship. Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, my Honda runs so great. I get good starts. Some people crashed. I rode around. I rode good in the beginning, but then Goose was riding so good, and he caught me in the end.
With Stewart going down, you got one round to go. Can you win this championship?
I think I can, yeah. I mean, I'm having a good time, and I rode my own race, kinda, so I can't wait till Salt Lake.
Fantastic ride.
Thanks.
So the benefactor of crashes early in this race, and the main one between Stewart and Tedesco, and they had words after the race as they rode around the track. 250s coming up next.
Told you if we showed up late, we'd never find a place to sit. Check it out. Dude, we're so close we can practically taste the action.
Bud Light is proud to sponsor 7-time Supercross champion Jeremy McGrath.
The U.S. Open, all the world's best Supercross, Arena Cross, and motocross riders are invited to Vegas for the world's richest motorcycle race. And with a $300,000 purse on the line, the action is sure to be insane. So don't get left out. Get tickets now. U.S. Open, October 11th, 12th, and 13th, 2002, inside BMGM Grand Garden Arena, Las Vegas.
The Bachelor's down to 3. Trista, Amanda, and Shannon. Monday, one will be eliminated.
It's going to be brutal.
Then Thursday, the 23 rejected women tell all on the Bachelor Reunion special at 8/7 Central. Followed by the season finale at 9/8 Central. The Bachelor, who will he choose to be his wife? Monday and Thursday on ABC.
Nicholas, Irwin, Claire, Watson, the Senior PGA Tour's best compete in the first major of the year, the Countrywide Tradition, Saturday on ABC.
When it comes to getting things done around the home, WJLA.com and Novak have the answers. Novak supplies world-class energy and hometown service to more than 100,000 customers in Northern Virginia. So visit WJLA.com and get some help around the home with energy savings tips from Novak.
Chevy Chase Hyundai has gone off the wall with low Hyundai pricing. The invoice of every new Hyundai has been posted on the showroom window. Just match your car to the invoice, rip it off the wall. That's the price you pay. No hassle, no negotiating, just rock-bottom invoice pricing. Save thousands with off-the-wall savings. Just pick your vehicle, match it to the invoice posted, rip it off the wall. That's the price you pay. Exclusively at Chevy Chase Hyundai. The right people, the right price, the right choice.
Morning, noon, or night, IHOP gives you a great value on delicious food. Because anytime's a good time to save a little money, and anytime's a good time for IHOP.
Spring Break Live starting April 29th on ABC 7 News at 5 and 6.
This Wide World of Sports update brought to you by ExxonMobil and Speed Pass. Today's way to pay.
The debate between two-stroke and four-stroke engines has been a hot topic in the motorcycle industry as of late. Environmentally speaking, the four-stroke engine burns cleaner than its counterpart. Yamaha has been the leader in the development of the technology, and this year, Team Yamaha includes David Villeman on his two-stroke bike and Tim Ferry, who rides a four-stroke, as the debate continues.
The power is a lot smoother. You know, the four-stroke, it's, you know, power stroke is every fourth stroke, as opposed to a two-stroke of every other stroke.
For me, the advantage was starts. You know, the four strokes, you can usually start up a gear. You know, usually start in third pretty much all the time on a four-stroke.
The two-stroke has maybe a little bit better throttle response for some of those obstacles where they jump on, jump off. Maybe a little more difficult on a four-stroke.
One plus that I do have with the four-stroke, lately I've been just nailing my start, so you have that extra power, and you know, that thing doesn't wheelie quite as much as a two-stroke, so it's definitely an advantage there.
The disadvantage may be throttle response, and you know, a lot of people may say weight, but actually in these modern-day four-strokes, they're almost the same weight as a two-stroke. So really, they're very, very similar.
One big difference is the sound. The two-stroke engine sounds like the normal high-pitched motorcycle engine. While the four-stroke engine emits a much lower, throatier sound.
You really need to ride a two-stroke with finesse. With a four-stroke, you can, you know, they're real smooth power, so the wheel doesn't really break loose as much as a two-stroke, so it's a lot easier to ride on a hard, slippery situation. You know, it doesn't have like a real snappy kind of power.
You have to learn not to really be really aggressive and like really push the issue and not try to go faster than what you're really capable of, because the bike's a little faster, it's a little bit heavier, and you can get into trouble a lot more.
I think one day there is a possibility we could see all four strokes in motocross and supercross, but maybe not for some time.
And when we come back, David Villeman on his two-stroke Yamaha will make a run at Ricky Carmichael. The 250 main event is straight ahead from Dallas. Carmichael set to do battle here in the 250 main event. Elvis on hand. No doubt he'll be in Vegas for the finals. Saturday, May 4th, 125 East-West shootout, the final round for the 250s. It all gets underway at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific time, and it's only on pay-per-view. Should be a great finals. 250 qualifying heats took place earlier. Jeremy McGrath, the 7-time Supercross champion, back in fine form. David Villeman finished right behind, and Tim Ferry on the four-stroke finished in third. The second qualifying heat, Ricky Carmichael had to come from behind to edge out Ezra Lusk and Stefan Roncada. So they're ready to go in the 250 main event. Your starting lineup, McGrath and Carmichael. No better names than that, right alongside David Villeman, second overall in the point standings. Tim Ferry, Stefan Roncada, who'll be wearing a helmet cam for us. Nathan Ramsey, who got his first victory ever last week in Pontiac.
Sebastian Tortelli having to go to the last chance qualifier today. Ricky Carmichael, this was round one. Over the bars, takes LaRocco with him. Gets up, cut on the face, knocked himself a little silly, broke a bone in his hand. This was last week. Chasing Fonseca for the lead, loops out. Off the back of the bike, gets up in a full sprint, can't get the visor out of his way, says forget about it, and it came from 19th to 2nd.
That's to come back from that and to work your way all the way back up to finish second. Unbelievable.
Jeremy feels like he can win, Terry. He's got to that point now where he's riding harder during the week. He's only got 3 more chances to try to get a win. Here's Roncada's view. He's second from the inside. See the 30-second card down there. Then when that goes sideways, these guys will have a minimum of 5 seconds before that gate drops. The helmet camera on Stefan Roncada. It's great to have it on a guy that has been able to get up front and get on the podium. He might give us some great pictures of Carmichael in the battle out front. Ryan Clark, the privateer, has been carrying it as well. But Roncada has been a little bit more proven as far as staying up front longer in the race. 103 in the middle between Carmichael and McGrath is Chad Reed.
Chad Reed won the 125 East already, and here they go. The long start. And guess what? Jeremy McGrath getting the Powerade hole shot in a major pile up behind him.
And Chad Reed involved in it. Ezra Lusk also involved in it. Fonseca over here. And McGrath is leading Ricky Carmichael and David Villeman. This is perfect.
Sebastian Tortelli, number 13, also in that pack, as is Nathan Ramsey, who got his first victory last week. But there goes McGrath, number 2, the old familiar sight of McGrath leading a Supercross race.
Now he's got the speed and he's steady, but can he hold off Carmichael? Nobody's been able to do that. Take another look at what happened in the first corner. You see Chad Reed, watch him shift with the inside of his heel, and McGrath, so it doesn't change their body position. He doesn't quite get the run he needs. Carmichael gets in front of him and he goes down right there. All kinds of just a domino effect. This is Ron Cotta's view right behind David Villeman. Pavoni, number 48. Tough block goes right in front of Ron Cotta, but he gets out of it. Unbelievable.
And there goes Jeremy McGrath. He still does have the lead over Ricky Carmichael, but that can't be a good feeling to see number 4 right behind you. Sebastian Tortelli, number 13, currently in 3rd place.
It wasn't that long ago that McGrath had the entire field intimidated. There's Fonseca, he's okay, but he's got some damage to the front end. They take off that fork guard, make sure that doesn't get hung up in the wheel. So Fonseca's had up and down. He gets one good result and then one bad result. There they go lapping him.
They'll go 20 laps here in the main event. McGrath, who has won the title 7 times, he has won more races than anyone in Supercross history. And he owned that top spot until last year when Ricky Carmichael won 14 of 16 races, including 13 in a row. This year, Carmichael has won 8.
Yeah, I felt like, I think a lot of people did, and seeing the first half, 3/4 of this series, and watching Jeremy struggle, riding tight, and not even making the podium until the Atlanta round, which is just unbelievable for McGrath. He's won 72 races and 7 championships. But I'm impressed. He stayed with it. He's fought his way back into having fast lap times and being able to lead races like this and perhaps win here.
He talked about it after his race last week in Detroit, the fact that he really felt good about the 20 laps that he had gone throughout every lap, which hadn't happened in a while.
Yeah, every round for the last 4 or 5 races, he's just climbed closer and closer to a chance to win. And here, golden opportunity, but he cannot leave that door open. Carmichael will stay back there and be patient as long as he doesn't get pressure. But I think around the halfway mark, if Carmichael hasn't found a way around at that point, he's going to get aggressive and run it in on the inside of McGrath.
This is even more important for McGrath because of the overall race. Now, for a guy who's won 7 titles, maybe he's not real happy about battling for 3rd place overall, but the fact is, he is in a battle with Ezra Lusk and Stefan Roncada for 3rd. Only 9 points separates the 3. There goes Ricky Carmichael.
Is just what I was talking about, Terry. I just said McGrath cannot leave the door open. He went into a left-hander after the triple, and he left room on the inside. Carmichael sort of forced his way in there, but Jeremy left a little room. Now he's got Villeman into 3rd. He may start to catch these guys and put pressure on Jeremy. That would probably help Carmichael pull away. See, there it was. McGrath left that door just a crack open, and Carmichael will take that room and make you pay.
As dominant as McGrath was for nearly a decade, that's how dominant Ricky Carmichael has been for the last year and a half, almost 2 years. He's won 22 of the last 29 races.
Unbelievable what this kid has been able to do. The level of intensity that he's brought to the sport. McGrath used to dominate this with just flawless style, good decisions, great starts. And he was always the guy that put the pressure on everybody else, jumping things first. And Carmichael realized, okay, I can't outride this guy, but if I get fit, I can outlast him, and I can out-intensify him. And that's what he's done, and Jeremy has started to find an answer. If he can stay close enough to Ricky, without getting too much pressure from Villeman, then Ricky's going to feel this going down the stretch.
So Villeman take a look behind him to see what's going on. David Villeman, the 24-year-old from France, who is in 2nd place in the overall point standings behind Ricky Carmichael.
Jeremy has got to keep RC from getting away from him.
Villemin hurt his shoulder in practice and during a photo shoot before Daytona. He had a 20-point lead over Carmichael. After that race in which he was not able to compete, it was Carmichael who had a 5-point lead over Villemin. Right now, only 24 points separate the two. So the difference in the overall points race, that one Daytona race that Villemin could not enter.
Well, you can see that the points that Ricky's built it back up to, it'd probably be in about a tie right now. Look at Villemin.
Chasing down and passing Jeremy McGrath. David Villemin. There he goes.
Actually had, Terry, the fastest lap in qualifying. Jeremy had the faster heat than Carmichael by a second, but it was Villemin with the fastest lap, and he's showing us that speed right now. I'm not seeing the same intensity in McGrath as he just kind of cruises through that corner right there and sets himself up to get past.
So it's Villemin chasing down the leader right now, and the leader is number 4, Ricky Carmichael, the 22-year-old from Havana, Florida, the defending champ in the series, the defending champ here in Dallas. He's trying to run away with it.
There's never been a best.
Good. Yamaha, makers of fine motorcycles and ATVs. Nobody's more in tune with motorsports than Yamaha. And Honda, the company that defines performance in motorcycles, ATVs, and scooters.
Earlier today, the action in the pits just outside of Texas Stadium. Hello there. I think the fans have a great time out. Maybe as good a time out there as they do once they come inside, talking to their favorite riders. The battle at the front of the pack. Ricky Carmichael has the lead, but it's David Villemin right behind him, and those are the top 2 overall in the series.
They've dropped McGrath. You can see the gap back to Jeremy. His wheel just poking into the picture. And what Villemin has done is shown that he is the fastest rider on the track. He's probably got a little bit more finesse on the slippery surface than Ricky does. And if Ricky can beat him by riding on the edge, we'll give it to him, but he's already starting to make mistakes.
Villemin to the outside. You saw the interval just a minute ago.
Villemin is being very patient right now. He didn't even try to get after Ricky right there. He just kind of laid up. Look at him. He's just riding behind Ricky, taking his time. What you don't want to give Ricky is an opportunity to pass it back. So he's letting these laps wind down, learning everything he can about Ricky's weaknesses, and he's going to strike, just like he did in Indianapolis.
I was just going to say, at Indianapolis, he waited on the final lap. He passed Ricky Carmichael, and he took the checkered flag.
Yeah, well, that Cobra nickname fits what he's doing right here. He's just waiting.
RC trying to hold off the Cobra.
Watch Ricky get in here. He jumps in and tries to jump up on the tabletop there, and he didn't quite. I think he got wheel spin is what happened there, and he didn't get the front end high enough. He's strong enough to muscle his way out of that, but Villemin's going, I got you now.
In a much different story this year from last year when RC won nearly every race. Last year, only a handful of riders made it to the podium the entire year. This year, there's been double that. And, of course, Ricky has won 8 times. It was 14 times last season.
You know, I got a little time to think about what Villemin's doing here, and he's starting to lose a little time to Ricky. If you give Ricky a second chance, you might not get that opportunity. Ricky is so tough. He's one of the few riders out there that can be caught because his pace isn't fast enough, and then answer that challenge, pick up his pace, and completely blow your whole deal because you thought, oh, I caught him this fast, I should be able to get around him. Then he lifts his level of intensity, and you can't make the change to get back and put pressure on him. Right now, he doesn't have any pressure anymore.
Their Honda stopwatch, the interval between Carmichael and Villemin, first and second place.
Now, if Villemin catches and gets right up on his rear wheel again, then I know, okay, he's doing what he needs to do. But so far, Ricky's been able to get that little bit of gap. See, if Villemin was closer right here, he could run it down the inside, put a block pass on Ricky, or at least make Ricky worry about that.
Let's check in downstairs with Davey.
Well, we got Chad Reed on the sidelines here. Chad, what happened?
Just got down the side straight. I was right beside Ricky, and you know, Ricky needs to win. He was pretty desperate going into that corner, and he just ran me straight in, and I come together with Lusk and just snowballed from there. And, you know, I'm really bummed. I was looking forward to this race. Thanks, Chad.
So Chad Reed, who rode very well early in the 250s out west, and then went over, all he did is win the 125 East. And he told you before this race, said, I want to win. I don't want to just ride well. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, and I don't know if he had the speed of these guys. We'll never know now, but definitely had the speed to catch McGrath, who you see going into the corner these guys came out of. Still holding that gap about the same. But he's got Nathan Ramsey. McGrath does. You see McGrath going into that corner before the finish. Nathan Ramsey's closing in on him. And Ricky's pulling away. So I'm starting to think back to when Villeman just sort of laid up, let Ricky have it a bit. Might have been a big mistake.
Let's go back down to Davey Coombs.
We've been watching Craig Montgomery, that's David Villeman's mechanics board. Before he said wait, and now he's writing make move. So keep an eye out. If Villeman's strategy was to hang back, his strategy is now to go for it.
Yeah, and Ricky puts that pressure on you. If Ricky wins this race, he's going to look at the tape, and just laugh and be like, you know, these guys they're not tough enough to beat me. They're fast enough. They want to win, but they're not tough enough when it counts. That's why Ricky has got these guys. He's in all their heads.
Plenty of reasons why Ricky Carmichael has been able to have the success he has had over the last year and a half. We asked some of his fellow competitors what makes him so special. Here's what they said.
He lands off the triples and stuff like that, and he gasses it really hard to the corner. Everybody else is kind of, landing and, just maybe getting half while he's like wide open, sitting down, leaning back, getting every bit of traction and power he can.
His power to weight ratio is, they up there. He's a smaller guy that's really, really strong and able to maneuver around a lot easier.
If he doesn't win, he goes psycho, which used to piss me off when he was in the team with me.
He rides that track like it's an outdoor track in the corners, and he pushes 150%, and he's always on the edge.
More than anything else, David, what do you think stands out about Carmichael?
Well, his fitness for one thing. I think we're starting to see that right now. Villeman has the speed, but I don't think he's got enough energy right now to just lay it down and catch Ricky. I felt like that before in a race, and it just made me so mad that I didn't have the strength to put all my effort into it. The potential that Villeman has is incredible, but he's not able to get it because he doesn't have the fitness that Ricky has. And I don't think he's got quite the desire when it counts the most. Ricky, everyone looks at these races and just thinks, man, this guy is so intense, so fast. And I'll bet you there's so many races where Ricky's thinking, I could have gone faster. I go faster during the week. And that's what helps him to be able to stretch out a lead like this over Villeman.
Look at what he's done this season, and it's very telling what you said earlier in the show about after the crash and working his way back up from 19th, he finished second last week in Pontiac. He was upset. He was mad.
Oh, unbelievable. I really wrote him off and figured, if he gets in the top 10, that'll be great. That'll tighten up the points a little bit. Then he caught the lead group by the halfway mark. And I started looking up to the leader where he was, thinking he can win this thing. And he completely demoralized everybody else. And I was totally blown away by the effort. And with about 2 corners to go, I realized he'd run out of time. He shook his head like he was just absolutely frustrated that he had lost that race and the streak had stopped.
A reminder, Sunday night, ESPN has a battle for Golden State bragging rights. David Justice and the A's hosting the Anaheim Angels. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Nextel at 8 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPN.com.
Well, I'm impressed with Villeman, but he had a chance. I think he was just a little overconfident right there. When he had that chance to get up on Ricky and really apply the pressure, he didn't want it bad enough. Ricky would have, if he was in that situation, he would have been all over Villeman.
Back to the helmet cam of Stefan Roncada, currently in 5th place.
This is where they go across the starting line. The mechanics to their left there. This is the approach of the triple. See how much they could see. Like if he wanted to look to his right, he could see riders coming over the finish line up ahead of him.
You got to take a beating through 20 laps of a main event, don't you?
Well, it's more than the beating. These guys get used to that, but it's having to be precise. I mean, they're riding the line. If they're all by themselves out here, they really only take up about a 4 to 8 inch patch all the way around this racetrack. They're that precise. And the concentration it takes for so long jumping all this stuff, which is a little bit scary too at times, to have that precision to take exactly the line you want. Because through those loops right there, if you hit a little edge and it sends your back in sideways, you're going down.
Speaking of the edge, last week the crash that Ricky Carmichael experienced just got off by a little bit.
Oh, was flipped off the peg right there. doesn't bother him because he's just out-muscled David Villeman now. He's stronger in the mind. He wanted to win the race. Villeman pretty much gave it to him back there when he had an opportunity to get in and really force Ricky to push himself, perhaps out of his comfort zone more than normal. And he laid up. I thought he might have the speed and was being smart there, but right now, that was the wrong tactic.
Final lap, and Ricky Carmichael under control, just cruising here.
Well, he starts another streak now. He's happy about it.
He won 6 in a row midway through this season, 8 overall, and here he comes. He's going to enjoy the checkered finish here. The win for Ricky Carmichael, his 9th of the season. David Villeman comes in second, and Jeremy McGrath ends up in 3rd place.
Bizarre moments in Dallas, Texas. Jeff Emig went down. Doug Henry won his first Supercross. Joining us now, filling in for the expected father, Davey Coombs, is the former champion we just saw in the mud, Jeff Emig.
All right, you guys, it's not quite as wet as that race back in 1995, but we do have some serious mud here in Salt Lake. That's going to favor a tall guy like David Villeman. Plus, he has the attitude. He likes riding in the mud. It's forecasted to have some heavy downpours later on. If it rains, anything can happen.
Our Suzuki storyline tonight. Can Ricky Carmichael wrap it up, or can David Villeman hold on for that final round in Las Vegas? Jeremy McGrath holds a record 9 consecutive years with at least 1 win. Can he make it 10 here tonight? And who goes to Vegas with the top privateer advantage? Only 4 points separates Nick Way and Heath Foss. Let's turn to David Bailey now for the Speed Stick track map.
Well, you can see it's a long start, and I can't wait to see what that first turn looks like with this mud. If the rain shows up again, that's going to be very interesting. The whoop section tonight isn't nearly as tricky as they normally make it in anticipation of more rain. They cross the start over and up with another triple. After they get the finish line, they go across and back into the first corner. You can see that the start they're working on right now. There's the dozers trying to clear out some of that mud. It's a big, wide first corner, a nice sweeper right there, and as the rain holds off, we should have great conditions, Art.
Check out the Honda point standings now for the 250s. There you see it. Villeman 27 points behind. He's got to gain 3 points here tonight if he hopes to hold off the celebration of Ricky Carmichael. The Heat 1 lineup now as Villeman and McGrath, Ramsey, Fonseca, Huffman, Ferry, Tortelli, and the rest of the crew. Of course, Villeman with the hopes of delaying the celebration for Ricky Carmichael here tonight. Jeremy McGrath 3rd in points. Nathan Ramsey, a one-time winner. His teammates on Team Honda, Ernesto Fonseca and Sebastian Tortelli, all in this heat, along with Tim Ferry on that 4-stroke. Number 15 just going by. Number 20 is Huffman. 24, Fonseca, and that's Riddle, number 77, the former Suzuki team rider.
Ryan Clark with a helmet camera all the way on the outside. Interesting tactic there. That might work out pretty good. There you see the helmet camera up on top.
Be interesting to see how that survives with all the roost of mud that might flick up in front of him.
And I'm going to lay $100 right now on Tim Ferry for the whole shot, Art.
That 4-stroke,
Any bets?
huh?
This is where he really did well last year. Kind of started a little streak of running up front. 3rd in Vegas after this. Then he won that outdoor national at Glen Helen.
Villeman was hoping for rain at a sloppy track. He grew up in France, of course, and ran almost every day in the rain. He's a very good mudder.
You see McGrath right there. He has foam on top of his helmet. Ferry doesn't. He's probably thinking, hey, I'm just going to get the whole shot. I don't need foam on my helmet.
32nd board now is sideways. We're set to go for our first qualifying round of the 250s in Salt Lake City. Wow. Oh, I should have bet you. Villeman gets the whole shot. Ferry is battling for second with Ramsey. Ramsey moving into second.
That's weird. Villeman was messing with that clutch lever till the very last second. It looked like something. And Ferry goes down and takes Darcy Lang with him.
Ferry still hasn't gotten up.
Can't get out from underneath the bike.
Well, he's
Look
an
at that.
immediate candidate now for the semifinal round.
Is that something or what? Stopping to help Ferry. He recognized hey, I'm not in the running. Let me help Ferry get up. Otherwise, Ferry would still be stuck. His visor's pointing down.
Meanwhile, Villeman is on a mission.
Watch Ferry right there. He's in third. Over the bars. Face plant. And the bike tips over on him. Then in the orange, leaning up against that speed stick tough block is Darcy Lang. McGrath just scoots out of there. And Ferry that whole time had his head pinned under the bike. So he needed that whole shot.
Villeman, Ramsey, Fonseca, Huffman in fourth, Tortelli fifth, Riddle, McGrath in seventh, and our helmet cam in eighth right now. Remember, only the top four graduate to the main event out of our qualifying rounds. There's Fonseca 24 as you see them come through. Tortelli 13 on the inside. That's McGrath number 2. Number 20 is Huffman. 77 Riddle. Our helmet cam number 54.
McGrath just moving into fifth right there ahead of Huffman. Still not in qualifying position, and good luck getting around Tortelli.
Here's Jeremy. Jeremy coming off his second podium in a row, his third of the season in the last race. He's averaging an 8.4 finish in the first 7 races, a 3.8 finish in the last 7. Tremendous improvement in the second half of the season.
Well, it's not looking good right now because Tortelli is a great mud rider. Remember that race he won at the LA Coliseum?
1998.
Conditions almost identical to these. And if he doesn't get around him, he's got to go to the semi. See the ruts starting to develop. Every once in a while we get a shot of their view of the jumps or the ruts. Or the whoops.
Tim Ferry talking things over now with his mechanic, Ryan Kinney, as we see Villeman of Team Yamaha on the two-stroke out in front, leaping that over the finish line jump. Earlier today, as we said before, Villeman was really praying for rain.
Pray for rain all the time because that's fun. I love to race in the mud actually, and but you know where I'm at right now, 24 points behind Ricky, or 27 or something. I don't know. I have to get some points back to wait until Vegas, and so rain might help me.
He wasn't quite sure how far behind Ricky is, but he knows what he has to do. It's all within himself, David.
And he's doing it. That's an amazing hole shot. He got out of there and hooked that bike up like he was riding one of those 4 strokes. Had a 3 bike length lead a third of the way down to the starting line, and he's just opening it up. But I'll tell you who's impressing me right now is Fonseca. Fonseca is starting to, he's moved into second, starting to close on Villeman a little bit. This is Ryan Clark over the triple.
Let's take a lap with him.
He's right behind Damon Huffman. That's him right there ahead of us. See the ruts right there? Ryan's going to go to the, now it looks like he's going to go to the inside. Besides the last minute, let me go to the outside, get a good run. You hear how much harder they are on the throttle in these kind of conditions. You get a lot more wheel spin. And this soft, mushy dirt kind of robs you of the horsepower that you would normally have in perfect conditions. Coming up on the whoop section. That didn't sound good. And they're not even as radical as they normally are. But he gets through there and actually reels Huffman in a little bit. See Huffman loses balance? His ruts are really making it tough.
What a challenging track this has turned into be. Sebastian Tortelli and Jeremy McGrath fighting for that last transfer spot. Jeremy pulling up on Sebastian, and look at that. They're pulling up also on Nathan Ramsey. Anything can happen here at the end of this qualifying round. McGrath in the whoops. Good clean pass.
They love this guy or what?
The crowd is going bananas. Here comes Tortelli back again.
He might be able to get Ramsey too. Fonseca's just up ahead of these guys. Kept that distance to Villeman about the same.
Here comes Tortelli back again. Nothing is safe here in Salt Lake City.
Jeremy will get a good run off that berm.
Crosses to the inside with Tortelli. Backs off.
Yeah, you don't just move Tortelli out of the way. He's like a linebacker.
Villeman, meanwhile, with a 3.3-second lead on Fonseca. Ramsey is 5.2 seconds back. Here comes Jeremy McGrath once again. Back and forth we go. The lapper getting out of the way.
Carmichael getting ready. Looks like he's going to be starting next to Ezra Lusk. This guy's went at it in the practice session. White flag is out. Jeremy has got to hold off Tortelli to make it to the main.
Tortelli slipping a little bit on the turn before that straightaway, and McGrath has picked up at least another bike lane.
While this was going on, Villeman took his lap times down to 47.9, and that's what Jeremy just turned that last lap to get around Tortelli.
Villeman, upper right portion of your screen. Ramsey 25, Fonseca 24, and Jeremy McGrath number 2. There's Villeman.
One more turn.
The checkers are out. They're waving for David Villeman. His third qualifying heat win of the year, and McGrath almost caught Ramsey. So McGrath, though, makes it, gets that transfer to the main event, taking 4th place.
Well, that was an incredible ride by Villeman, but Jeremy just warmed this crowd back up.
That'll give you a little idea about what it's like when you're not in front.
Yeah, I see the dirt all over that lens. It's hard to see through all that, and it gets worse in the 20-lap final.
Clark coming off on 7th place. We'll have to go to the semifinal round. David Villeman. He doesn't win many heat races.
When it rains,
but he took it this one, yes, in our Honda results page. With this wonderful crowd here in Salt Lake City. Fonseca, Ramsey, and McGrath qualifying. And the ones without darts next to their position having to go to the semifinal round. Coming up, heat number 2, Ricky Carmichael, Ezra Lux, Stefan Roncada. It'll be a good one. Stay tuned.
Hard-working Hondas. Every Honda ATV, from the Sport Tracks Nut through the 4 Tracks Ranchers and 4 Tracks Foreman Rubicon have hard-working deals. Now pick your ATV and pick your deal. Low 6.9% APR financing or payments as low as $69 per month with your Honda card. And get up to $600 in double bonus bucks on select models. Hard-working Hondas, hard-working deals. Spring into action now at your Honda dealer.
Hey, dialing my number?
Of course, I always use 1-800-COLLECT.
Then you already know it saves $1 or $2.
1-800-COLLECT? It's so easy.
You sure know how to push the right buttons.
1-800-COLLECT. Save $1 or $2.
And what did you do this weekend?
I called this girl, but the line was busy.
Gary? Matt?
I went to Wendy's for lunch. Well, I see the hamburgers on TV and they look good. I ordered a classic double with cheese. Call me crazy, but I think they made it just for me. Hot, juicy, it tasted great. And when I finished, I felt good. And I liked that feeling.
Bravo!
Sure. Wendy's Classic Double with cheese. And now Wendy's pickup window is open late so you can eat great even late.
Warning. This movie is so exhilarating, it can only be seen exclusively in IMAX theaters and other large format cinemas.
Yeah, I like that.
ESPN's Ultimate X, rated PG, only in theaters May 10th.
EA Sports Supercross is being brought to you by Suzuki, maker of innovative motorcycles and all-terrain vehicles. By EA Sports, if it's in the game, it's in the game. And by Honda, the company that defines performance in motorcycles, ATVs, and scooters. Personally, I'm surprised with the inclement weather. We had such a great crowd on hand here at Rice-Eccles Stadium. As we see here, the pit party just prior. They just saw a very focused David Villeman, who's now with Terry Boyd.
David, you made it look absolutely easy. How confident are you going into the main event tonight?
Yeah, I feel great. You know, I got a great start, and I've been struggling lately with my starts, and we've been working really hard. And you know, I got it dialed in now, and hopefully I can get a good start in the main. You know, track is kind of tricky with a lot of ruts, and you know, it's supposed to rain too, so it's going to be very interesting. And hopefully I can you know, stay in front of Ricky, so we're going to go to Vegas.
I noticed something about you. You ride the same as it is when it's dry.
Yeah, sure. You know, I'm from Europe, so I'm kind of used to this weather. And for me, it would be great if it rains a lot more. But you know, never know. Hopefully I will.
Tell you what, thank you very much. Good luck tonight, David. All right, David, I'll tell you, he seems to feel you got to ride the same in the mud as you do in the dirt.
Checking out now our second qualifying heat, which includes our rider who's looking for his second consecutive 250 championship, Ricky Carmichael, Ezra Lusk, a veteran winner, Stefan Roncada, Nicholas Way, who's just in front of Heath Foss in that battle for the top privateer honors. That means 25 grand to the winner of that particular contest at the end of the year. John Sebastian Waugh also, and Kyle Lewis, two very good privateers who are fighting for the third spot, which is something like $10,000 of prize money in the privateer ranks. There's Ezra Lusk, number 11. Ezra would really like a breakthrough race right here, David Bailey.
Well, this is where he really had a head of steam last year after having a great battle in Pontiac, Michigan, then in Dallas the week after that.